students, welcome to today's class. Today we are looking the revision chapter of history, chapter 9. Today's kings and pilgrims in India. What are the changes happened by the trades and the kings and the pilgrims? That things we are looking in this chapter. Important points you underline with the pencil in your textbook. North and black polished ware was fine pottery we have seen in the chapter 8. Especially bowls and plates were found from the several archaeological sites. South India was famous for gold and spices, especially pepper and precious stones. This underline. Pepper was valued in the Roman Empire, so it was known as the black gold. This underline. Trades carried many of these goods from the Roman ships across the sea by land in caravans. A trade with Roman Empire have been found in South India. That means many Roman gold coins have been found by the archaeologists. It shows that the Roman Empire having a trade relation with India. Puhar was an important port in the eastern coast. Traders explored several sea routes. They have used Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. The sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds to cross the sea more quickly. Underline that. They have used the monsoon winds so the ship can move fastly through the sea. The southern half of the subcontinent was marked by long coastline and with hills, plateaus and river valleys. Underline. The river valleys that the Kaveri was most fertile. This underline. Chiefs and kings who control the river valleys and the coast become rich and powerful because the river they have used for more transportation and the coastline also. That means the sea route, the port. Through the port, traders are giving the taxes. So the kings, those who ruled these area, they become very rich and powerful. Around 2,300 years ago, the Movendar, the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas, they become the more powerful in South India. Under their rule, the two prominent cities were there, Puhar or Kaveri Pattanam, the port of the Cholas, and Madurai, the capital of Pandyas. It became the two centers of power. Around 200 years later, a new dynasty known as Satavahanas became more powerful in western India. The most important ruler of Satavahanas was Gautamiputra Sri Satakarni. This line. We are knowing about him from the inscription written by his mother Gautami Balasri. The Satavahana rulers were known as Lords of Dashinapada, the route leading to south, because they are controlling the route to south. Silk was the smooth texture and a highly valued fabric in most of the societies. First, the silkware, making of silkware first invented in China around 7,000 years ago. Then the Chinese travelers, the traders, they went to distant lands on foot or horseback, and camels carried silk with them. The path they followed came to be known as the Silk Route. Underline this. Wearing silk became the fashion among us rulers and rich people in Rome. And many rulers tried to control large portions of the route. This was because they could benefit from taxes. Underline. Tributes and gifts that were brought by traders traveling along this route. The best known of the rulers who controlled the Silk Route was Kushans. Underline. Their two major centers of power were Peshawar and Madura. Takshila was also included there in kingdom. Silk Route extended from Central Asia down to the seaports and mouth of river Indus, and silk were shipped westwards to the Roman Empire. The Kushans were among us the earliest rulers of the subcontinent to issue gold coins. Just underline. The most famous Kushana ruler Kanishka, he organized a Buddhist council, and the scholars met and discussed important matters. Ashwagosha, a poet who composed the biography of Buddha, Buddhacharita, lived in his court. Ashwagosha and other Buddhist scholars now began writing in Sanskrit. Underline the points. A new form of Buddhism known as Mahayana Buddhism now developed. Many statues of Buddhas were made in Madura and Takshila. The believing in bodhisattvas became very popular and spread throughout Central Asia, China, and later to Korea and Japan. The Buddhism also spread in Western and Southern India, and dozens of caves were hauled out in the hills for monks to live in. These caves were often located near passes through the Western Ghats. Roads are connecting and prosperous ports and coast with the cities in the Deccan through these passes. So the traders probably halt in these cave monasteries during their travels. So they spread, or the Buddhist monks went with the traders and spread the Buddhism to Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, and other parts of Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. The older form of Buddhism, known as the Theravada Buddhism, was more popular in these areas. Traders traveled in distant lands in caravans and ships, and many pilgrims also traveled with them. The best known of these were Chinese Buddhist pilgrims Fahian and Huansang. They visited the places associated with the Buddha and Buddhist monasteries, and they wrote in their travelers' account the dangers that they encountered on their travels, and they have stayed in many years in India, and they have visited most of the monasteries, and they carried some books about the writings of Buddha. Fahian began his journey back from home from Bengal, and Huansang took the land route back to China, and he carried with the statues of Buddha made of gold, silver, and sandalwood. Nalanda was a unique center of Buddhist learning at that time. It was situated in Bihar, the present time, and the teachers are men of the highest ability and talent. They follow the teachings of Buddha in all sincerity. The idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita, the sacred book of Hindus, underline, which is included in the Mahabharata. In this, Krishna, the god, asks Arjuna, his devotee and friend, to abandon all dharmas and take refuge in him, as only he can set Arjuna free from every evil. Those who followed the system of bhakti emphasized devotion and individual worship of god or goddesses, just online, rather than the performance of elaborate sacrifices. They want to individual worship, want to do the god or goddesses. With a pure heart, the deity will appear in the form in which he or she may desire. It may be in human being, lion, or tree in any another form. They want to be worshipped in pure-heartedly. The images of deities were often placed within special homes and places that were described as temples. Bhakti inspired some of the best expressions in art, sculpture, poetry, and architecture. The word Hindu, like the term India, is derived from the river Indus. About 2000 years ago, Christianity emerged in West Asia. Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem, which was the part of Roman Empire. And the Holy Book of Christians, Bible, contains the teachings of Christ. The Christ teachings appealed to ordinary people and spread through West Asia, Africa, and Europe. The first Christian preachers came from West Asia to the west coast of the subcontinent within 100 years of Christ's death. The Christians of Kerala are known as Syrian Christians because they probably came from West Asia. In this chapter, we have seen about the trade relation with the Roman Empire, and the archaeologists got many Roman coins from some of the places in the India, and the traders, they have used sea routes to travel. So they can approach easily one place to another through the water transportation, and kings controlled these routes. So the kings also get some taxes from the trades, so they become, some of the kingdoms or the kings, they become rich and powerful. And silk was one of the fine cloth was invented by the China, and the Chinese, they brought silk from China to many nations. These routes later known as the Silk Route. And Buddhism was spread by the Kushan ruler Kanishka, and many pilgrims came to India through the trades, and Bhakti movements were happened. It was written in the sacred book of Hindus, Bhagavad Gita, and spread of Christianity. It was from the West Asia, and many emergence happened through these trades and pilgrims. So read it carefully and study.